guys, thanks for stopping by. Today is Monday, March 4th. So we are going to dive right into this. This is Paul Bernardo, and I'm sure you remember a number of months ago, mysteriously, he was transferred from a maximum security facility into a medium security facility. And it was really bizarre because it happened like in the wee hours of the morning, and then nobody could figure out who made the decision, why it happened, because he wasn't supposed to be. He's supposed to be in maximum security, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, that's where he is. Now, Frank Caputo, an MP, decided to kind of just go down the rabbit hole and look into where Bernardo is. What's the facility? What's it all about? And you've got to see this. You've got to see this. Let's get right into the video.
Guilty all the way down to all.
I came face to face with Paul Bernardo. You will not believe how this guy is living. So for those who don't know, especially for younger people in Canada, Paul Bernardo is the worst of the worst. He was known as the Scarborough Rapist. He did unspeakable sex offenses against numerous women. Ultimately, him and his wife were responsible for 3 young women being killed. One of them was his own sister-in-law. Bernardo was eventually convicted for murder. He's serving multiple life sentences. He was also designated as a dangerous offender, which is the highest designation any criminal can receive in Canada. I'm a former Crown prosecutor, so I've seen a lot of evil in this world, but I can safely say this guy is the worst of the worst. We do not believe he can ever be rehabilitated because his offenses were so bad. Mid-2023, Paul Bernardo had been in maximum security where he belonged for about 20 years. But in the dead of night, in the cloak of secrecy, he was transferred to medium security.
On Friday, news broke that the serial rapist and killer had already been transferred from this Ontario maximum security prison to a medium security one in Quebec.
I've been in a lot of jails as a former parole officer, but I wanted to see for myself. I wanted to see what medium security was really like. So I went to the jail, La Macasa, where Paul Bernardo is incarcerated. I walked in, and the first thing you notice is how big of a property it is. It actually feels like a university campus. If you go to maximum security, it's really confined. There are doors everywhere in maximum security. You go to medium security, it's not really all that confined. It feels like university. It's like you're walking from building to building, just like you're walking from class to class. So my tour begins, and the first place they take me is to Paul Bernardo's unit. And for those who don't know, a unit is essentially a bunch of jail cells. So that's where he lives. We go straight to his cell, and they open the door. He's not there. You could see that he wasn't there, so I asked permission, and I take a step in. And it was really weird. Their margarine containers were drying on the top of his bunk. I'm not sure why. He had these mint chocolate bars off to the side. He had a electric razor. I asked whether he paid for that himself. He did. You could see all these things, and it looked like somebody very ordinary lived in that jail cell, and yet he's a monster. Had to keep on reminding myself that this person did unspeakable things. So I was in there for a couple of minutes. I turn around, and it was unmistakable. It was Paul Bernardo. His hair was still the color that I remember it as being in the photos, but
I think if this was me in that prison cell, I would have absolutely lost my ever-loving mind. Look at this guy's eyes. There is absolutely nothing behind those eyes. There is no soul. There's nothing in there. And imagine being in the guy's prison cell with him face to face. Oh.
Face was unmistakable. It was him. But just seeing him coming eye to eye with him, I had a physical reaction. Even just talking about this brings back memories. I've dealt with a lot of dangerous people, but I've never looked into the eyes of a serial killer like him. I was struck by his demeanor. He just walked up. What was happening? He wanted to kind of know. He knew I didn't belong, and he was seemingly asking about that. And he said, in French, he said, "Is everything good?" One of the things I noticed, he was taller than I expected, but he was well fed. He's well nourished. I mean, this isn't a guy who looks like he's missing a lot of meals. Gone were the skinny images that we'd grown up with in the 90s. This was somebody that looked different. So let's take this back a second. He is a serial murderer, a serial rapist, a dangerous offender. And that's when I started to get angry, because I walked outside and I had a look and I said, "What's that?" looks like a hockey rink. It was. Inmates can go and they can get skates and they can play hockey. There are hockey nets and everything. If you want to play in the evening, there are halogen lights. It look just like an outdoor basketball court at a community center or at your local baseball stadium. So that's not bad enough. The hockey rink, well lit, actually turns into a tennis court. If that wasn't enough for me to get outraged, while we were walking there, one of the guards commented that Luca Magnotta walked right by me.
Murder and dismemberment of his victim, Chinese student Jun Lin.
He's also alleged to have eaten parts of his victim. Prosecutors say Magnotta killed Jun Lin, then recorded himself having corpse.
So him and Paul Bernardo could actually be playing tennis one-on-one in the summertime. If I wasn't pissed off enough seeing the hockey rink and the tennis court, there was more. The cherry on top was seeing this beautiful gymnasium, and next to that is a weight room, much nicer than I'd say 95% of Canadians have access to. He has a billiards table where he can play pool, and then you walk a little ways, and what do you find? You find a workshop where he can sign out tools, chisels, scissors, hammers, duct tape. One of the worst criminals in Canadian history is actually living better than most Canadians. It's almost like a scene from Goodfellas, but this isn't fiction. He's actually living like this. I once had an inmate when I was walking through a different jail say, all in all, not a bad place to do time. That's how he's probably feeling. I'm not saying that we treat people inhumanely. We're a country of human rights. We're a country where the rule of law prevails, but you don't have a human right to a tennis court. You don't have a human right to a pool table, and you don't have a human right to play pickup hockey when you please. And most of all, one of the worst criminals in Canadian history does not and should not have the right to these things. It shouldn't take an MP having to go into a jail to tell you this. People in the government, they may not want you to know the truth of how animals like Paul Bernardo are living, people who should be in maximum security. And yet, here he is in medium security, living better than most Canadians. I shouldn't even be making this video. Why did it take an MP going into the jail to see what medium security was like for Paul Bernardo? He should have never been transferred out of maximum to begin with. This is just part of the bigger problem of the mess that's become the liberal justice system. We have repeat dangerous offenders who are routinely released on bail. We have sexual offenders who commit offenses against children getting house arrest as sentencing. And now we have the government unable to even manage serial killers in maximum security. Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, they don't take criminal justice seriously. We can't forget the victims and all they've gone through and all they continue to go through. But we have to tell the truth on how one of Canada's worst serial killers is living better than most Canadians. After coming face to face with Paul Bernardo, we've done some more digging, and I can tell you there's more to tell. Canadians need to know the truth. Please like and share this video because there's more to come. And as always, thanks for watching.
I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. I have so many questions. Who built that? Why did they build it like that? Why did they want pool tables and hockey rinks and tennis courts for prisoners? Who allows the worst criminal offender in arguably in Canadian history to sign out hammers and chisels and duct tape? How much did a facility like that cost? Honestly, like, it just numbs the mind when money should be spent on homeless and feeding people. But these guys are living it up at literally at a resort. Are you serious? What screwball in the government approved this, planned it, executed it, budgeted for it? I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand why Trudeau is so easy on criminals. They kill people. They damage things. They steal things. They cause social upheaval. But Trudeau just seems to like it. His policies just seem to encourage it. I mean, seriously, if you were going to go out and steal a car and now you know that chances are you're going to get sent to that medium security penitentiary. Might not be a bad deal. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I am going to follow this very closely. Frank mentioned at the end of the video that there's more to come. They're doing some more investigations. So I'm going to follow this. But there is something that you can do about it. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know my stance on peaceful protest. Please, down in the description is Trudeau's contact information, as well as Jagmeet Singh's. Because let's face it, Trudeau can't pull off any of what he's pulled off without the support of Jagmeet Singh. So Jagmeet is just as guilty with all of this as Trudeau is. And what I'm asking every Canadian to do is to exercise your right to peaceful protest and write a letter. Make a phone call, send a fax, send an email, and let Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh understand very clearly that what they're doing is not in the best interest of Canadians or Canada. That you do not approve. If you don't, if you do approve, just ignore this portion of my video. But if you don't, please write a letter. Fill up the rooms at Parliament, at the constituency offices with letters. Somebody's got to open up each and every one of these things. And all you've got to say is you do not represent the best for Canada. You do not represent, and you are not enforcing and governing the way that you should. And what you're doing is wrong. And let them know in very clear terms that you're done. That's all you got to do. If you send a letter, it's a couple of minutes to write it out and put a stamp on it, send it off, and you're done. It's the only way that we're going to get any change. But as I said before, Frank mentioned at the end of the video he's going to be doing some more digging and getting some more information. So I'm going to be following this. So if I've earned it, hit the like button and the subscribe button. This way you're not going to miss any of my future videos. And listen, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have just an absolutely awesome day. Bye.